Hello and welcome to this new video. In the previous video, we implemented the functionality to kick players from the host. Today, we offer each lobby client the possibility to leave the session. In the previous video, we already implemented the leave session process in the player controller. So today's work will not be too complicated. We will use this functionality. First of all, go to the Lobby Sessions widget. I don't want to use the Leave Session button, which is there for the client to use to leave the session. So instead of that, I will add a button in the character widget like we did for the kick process. For that I want to remove this button. Go to the character widget and follow me to add the leave button. In the previous video, I worked on the visibility of the kick button. I will instead use the visibility of the border containing the button, and leave the button always visible. This can make the UI prettier. Replace the kick button variable with the border kick variable. Now I want to create the leave button. Just duplicate the kick button border. We will work on the visibility of the leave button border. It will be the opposite process that we did for the kick button. This button must be visible only to the client who owns the character and not to other clients and the host. Just follow me to do it. If the code runs on the client, then the border will be visible, but on condition that this client is the client corresponding to the character. To check this condition, just compare the player nickname of the local player with the name of the character. I want to organize my code. I want to start now to implement the logic if the client clicks on the Leave button. Just call the custom event kick member. Back in the Lobby Sessions widget, the Create Session, Start Session, End Session and Destroy Session buttons should not be visible to the client when joining the host. These features are therefore reserved for the host only. Rename the borders and check the box is variable. Select these borders with a Ctrl plus mouse left button. Then change their default visibility to hidden. Call the construct event of the widget. In this event, we will update the visibility of the borders according to the player type, so client or server. If the code is running on a server, then the visibility will be visible. Otherwise, hidden. The syntax is therefore, if the code runs on the server and we have clients, these borders will be visible, otherwise they will be hidden. I will test the implementation. I made a mistake. The Create Session button should be visible to allow the player to create the session, but it will be invisible to clients who join the session. We will fix that. The solution is therefore to make it visible if the code runs on a server. Retest again. Now every player can create a session as long as they are in standalone mode. I create a session on player 1 and I want to join it from player 2 and 3. As you see, player 2 can see his own leave button. So, once in the host's lobby, he can't create sessions. On the other hand, the host can't see the client's leave button, but only the kick button. We have a problem. The host must be able to manage the session once he has clients. We will fix that. I will now let player 3 join the session. And there you have it, each player can only see his leave button. And once in the session, he can't manage it. Now I want to test the functionality when the client clicks on the leave button. we see that nothing happened. This is because we ask the game mode to kick the player from the client. And in this case, the client does not have the right to give orders to the server. I will show you how we must implement the leave functionality. Back in the widget, we must first fix the problem of the borders not being displayed for the host to manage the session. The reason behind this is that the visibility update code is called on construct event. So only once. We want this implementation to be called continuously to update the UI. To do this, create a custom event and connect it to our visibility implementation. Now go to the Lobby widget to call the refresh event we just added when the Lobby Sessions tab is clicked. Now we want to fix the implementation of leave session on the client side. The solution consists of directly calling the leave function of the player controller interface. I just want to do a little code organization. When the leave button is clicked, we must call the leave session of the player controller directly. The problem now is that the client does not have a reference of the session, so that he cannot obtain the session name to pass in this function. What we will do therefore is to add a function in the interface of the game instance, which will be called by the client to obtain the current session in which he is a member. Go to the game instance interface. Basically, we're going to add two functions. The first is used to update the player's current session, and the second is used to get this session. Now go to your game instance and implement these two functions. To update the client's current session, there are two places where you need to call the game instance's setCurrentSession function. The first is in the session item widget when the client joins the session, and the second is in the player controller when he leaves or is kicked by the server. So go to the session item widget and call the function following the join process. Return to the character widget and call the game instance's getCurrentSession function to pass its name to the player controller's leaveSession function. In the player controller, once the leave process is finished, call the game instance function to update the session value, so it will be an empty structure. Now test the implementation. Create a session on player 1 and join it from player 2 and 3. And voila! When the host clicks on Lobby Sessions now, he sees the buttons to manage the session. Now test the implementation of leave by clicking on the Leave button of Player 2. And there you have it, Player 2 has successfully left the session, and we can clearly see in the other lobby that he has left. So, he can now create his own session. Do the same thing for Player 3 and see the result. If you go back to the Player 1 window, you will find that he can no longer manage the session because he is alone in the lobby. And that's it. That's exactly what we want. That's all for this video. See you in the next one.